Excellency Hailemariam Desalegn, Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Your Excellency Dr. Tedros Adhanom, Foreign Minister of Ethiopia, Your Excellency Dr. Arkabe Wai, the Special Advisor to the Minister, to the Prime Minister with the rank of a Minister, Ambassador Gannat Zode, Commissioner Fitsumaraga, and Mr. Daga, and Madam from the Chamber. And of course, my colleague Ato Solomon from the Ethiopian Chamber of Commerce. So, very happy to be here this morning, and I have 3 reasons to be really excited about being here this morning. The first one is that it's a great honor for me as an Indian to welcome His Excellency the Prime Minister of Ethiopia to Mumbai, to India, and it's really a great feeling, especially for a person whose family roots are in Ethiopia for the last 100 years. This year we are celebrating the centenary of our being in Ethiopia. My grandfather went there in 1915, it was 2015. So as a part of the centenary celebration, here I am with His Excellency the Prime Minister on his delegation. That was the second reason. The third reason is nostalgia. I studied here at Sydenham College, which is not very far, and every evening I would walk here and sit on the parapet facing the sea, and it was a wonderful feeling. This time I was on the other side in the evening at the Oberoi. So I missed that nostalgia, that nostalgic feeling, so went down and then sat on the parapet and felt very good about it. So 3 things which really made me feel good. Now, coming to Ethiopia, because I think Ethiopia does not play cricket, I think in India when we talk about Ethiopia and Africa, it's generally South Africa and Zimbabwe, or the cricket playing countries. And less is known about Ethiopia in its correct perspective. But yes, I would like to put some of the perspectives in correct light. And if I may draw your kind attention to that. Ethiopia is not a country which has been founded after the World War II or post-colonization or something. It is a very ancient country which has mentions in the Bible not once but several times. So it's a very ancient country. It is a country like India, which is an old civilization, and it's only re-emerging. India also went through its ups and downs, and we are re-emerging. Same with Ethiopia. It had its grandeur, its glory, and now it's re-emerging. So that's something which is very important for all of you to know. Second one is the trade between Ethiopia and India. It's not something which happened today. It's been going on since the 6th century AD, and it's been well documented and in Indian and Ethiopian history books. Third one is when we're talking of investments, and we're talking of investors coming to Ethiopia now, this again you should know that the first ever Indian corporate investment outside India was nowhere else but to Ethiopia. How many people knew about this? I'm sure none of you knew about it. Yeah? Mr. B.K. Birla was the first corporate club member who was investing abroad, and that was to Ethiopia way back before my birth. So you can see the ties. Yeah? And like I told you, both countries went through their ups and downs, and probably that's why we didn't see much, and now we're re-emerging. The fourth one will again quite surprise you, but if I ask all of you, like, who founded Rome, you'll be ready with an answer. But if I ask you, who founded Aurangabad, not many of you would know that. It's a city here in Maharashtra, yeah, an industrial city, very well known, prominent auto hub market, yeah, auto hub industrial market. That was founded by Ambar Malik. Everybody knows that? Who was he? He was an Ethiopian. He was an Ethiopian general in the Nizam Shahi. So you can see what Ethiopia and India have. And again, somebody mentioned earlier, the diplomatic relations. Diplomatic relations started way back in 1948, which was just 1 year after India's independence. So you can see the impact, the root of the strong relationship. So that is just to give you a perspective, a different perspective of Ethiopia. Coming to the current, I won't say much because a lot has been already given to you, and I think I have no authority on it. Only thing is, my friend Zamadinai, being an investment banker, is a little conservative, which he rightly should be because you will trust his money with him. And I am a little optimistic, like, thing. I would say even 11%. Yeah. So I say that it's growing at an 11%. But anyway, we're not far off. We can take the average of 10%. What His Excellency had said. Now, why should Indians really invest in Ethiopia? That's the biggest question. Now, one thing I would like to say is the political stability. For an investor, political stability is of maximum importance. I mean, I wouldn't like to go to a country which does not have political stability, and I don't think any one of you would like to go. Ethiopia has been having a very stable government. It's a democratic government, which is in place, and institutions are getting stronger, which is a big thing, and that's what Indians love, because we like the rule of law, and political stability means a lot. Then, if you will just see the committed leadership. Committed leadership, when I say commitment, everybody talks about commitment, but how do you really gauge as an investor commitment? If you go to Ethiopia and you're a serious investor and you're there for a short time and then you don't have time, or the minister is too busy, there have been instances when Ethiopian ministers are ready to meet you at 7 o'clock in the morning. Now, the official timing is at 8:30, but to meet you, to facilitate you, they are there at 7 o'clock in the morning. And they're very busy, but still they do that. And that shows commitment. And this I've heard from so many Indian investors who come and visit me. They were just thrilled. They said, like, is this really true, or I was just lucky? I said, no, this is how Ethiopia functions. And that is something. Now, commitment is okay, another thing. But commitment based on what? This commitment is based on a sound industrial policy. They have a vision. And for a country to be successful, there is a vision. And this vision is based on how to create industries, which industries to create. And that's why we have the priority sectors. There are incentives for the priority sectors. And all these things with a focus. Now, the focus is on developing the value chains. Now, how many countries really give a focus on the value chain? So these are the things which make Ethiopia unique. If you're investing, say, in the textile or the garments, or if you're trying to invest in leather industry, the government is encouraging and incentivizing the whole value chain. The industrial parks are coming up now, where everything will be there. The components, the satellite industries, that is the vision which they're going ahead with. So I would give a lot of importance to all these things, because we're talking of future. Investors don't think about the short term, talk about the long term, and that's where you should put your money on. Low corruption. Corruption has been the most nightmarish issue for all of us, all investors, all around the world. The corruption is very low in Ethiopia. And this I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart. I've been there for 100 years. Yeah, and we have no special accounts to deal with all these corruptions. Yeah. When I was in university, somebody, a chartered accountant, one Shet, Parek, sorry, he had written a book. And then they're like, how do you account for this? Yeah. He said, shall I create an account called, food for dogs or something? Yeah. So that is the dilemma which investors have, and we don't have corruption. So that is it. And for whatever small there may be, since everybody is a human being, sometimes you will see, but the government's attitude is zero tolerance. And whether it's a minister or anybody, there's no tolerance against corruption. So these are the things which really are outstanding for Ethiopia. And these are the things which I would like to highlight to Indian investors. Safety, yeah, you can walk at midnight, you can walk 2 o'clock at night on the roads of Bole, which is the bustling thing where there's so many nightclubs, restaurants and all. Nothing. It's so free. Nobody. Women are so safe. Unlike some of our own cities, yeah. Women are safe. So there's a lot of good things which I want to put into perspective, which mean a lot to investors. Like I won't name the country, but one of our neighbors, starting with P, their investors came and invested in Ethiopia just by saying that, look, I came here in transit and I could walk around the city with $20,000 in my pocket and no, I was not even bothered. I can't even go with a mobile phone in my country. Yeah, there'll be somebody pointing a gun here. So that was something else which investors look at. And all this with the other economics, which I won't say much, but which the previous speakers have already mentioned. Low cost of labor. In India, I think it's about, if I'm not mistaken, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, but it's at about $110 to $120 a month. Yeah? And in Ethiopia, it's about $50 to $60 a month. So we're almost talking about half. Yeah? And the productivity. The next question will be, okay, it's cheap, but how is the productivity? In a recent report that I read, the productivity with given equal equipments and technology, the Vietnamese worker and the Ethiopian worker have the same levels of productivity. So that's great, isn't it? Because Vietnam is doing very well, especially textiles, garments, leather shoes and all. So the productivity is there at half the price. Electricity, India is about 6 rupees if I'm not mistaken, especially in Gujarat. Correct me again if I'm wrong. 8 rupees, wow, okay. I think I was being conservative there. Yeah. Which is probably about more than 10 cents now. Ethiopia, we're talking of 56 Ethiopian cents, which is only about less than 3 cents. So you can imagine how much you save. The other things about the supply and the reliability and all, you've said, okay, we've been having glitches right now, yeah, but they're being looked into. Ethiopia is going to be a net, it is already exporting. The distribution links are being already put in place. So these are the main advantages. Other advantages, tax and quota-free access to the under AGOA and EBA. A lot of companies are really targeting this. And as you can see, a lot of Indian companies, not only Indians, others are also coming in. 100% foreign ownership is allowed, as His Excellency the Prime Minister already mentioned. Another important thing for Indians is Ethiopia has already signed the avoidance of the double taxation treaty with India. So this means a lot to you all, because otherwise you go to any other country, you make money there, you'll be taxed back there and again in India. So at least with Ethiopia, this is already in place. You will not be taxed again. That's a great assurance. English is widely spoken. Now, again, some other communities which are investing in India, in Ethiopia, they may not be as comfortable in English as our Indian investors will be. So anybody, even your managers, anybody whom you put, technical people, they'll easily, be able to, connect with the locals because of the English factor. So that's again a big advantage from what I see. Then simple and very clear, transparent monthly and yearly reporting formats. That is something which we all look for, isn't it? Like we are always, if you're at the Chamber of Commerce, I'm sure my colleagues here at the dais will confirm this. Whenever you're talking to any dignitaries or anything, you'll always say, please make business a little more easier. When I talk to my Indian colleagues, the reporting formats which you have in India, and if I compare it to Ethiopia, Ethiopia is much more easier. You have the VAT, you have the profit tax at the end of the year, you have the withholding tax, and of course the monthly salary tax and all. And it's very easy, very simple. Anybody can do it. No major complications in the calculations, and no advanced tax and all that. So things are very easy. So that I see as a big ease of doing business. Ease of doing business can be measured in many things. To me, this is a great ease of business itself. Respect of Indians. This, I think, has been, I will not say it because you've heard it straight from our Prime Minister, His Excellency Hailemariam. And this I can tell you, nowhere on this planet will you see so much respect for Indians as you have seen anywhere, as you will see in Ethiopia. Wherever you go. How many of you will be Ethiopia? And will you confirm to this? Yes. Yeah? So that's not Mayur only speaking with his bias with 100 years of history. That's all of you saying this. Now, opportunities, as you can see, there are many. Yeah, I've just listed a few because otherwise it will not even be visible, and of course more has been said about it. Yeah? But textile and garments has, to me, is a great opportunity. I've written why in the second column, why, the driving factor. Why is it possible? So you can have a look at that. And from an Indian companies, Arvind is doing well. I mean, they've come up. Raymond yesterday has signed an MOU of $100 million, which is a great news for us. Canoria, something. Now, just imagine an Indian company has invested a state-of-the-art denim manufacturing plant in Ethiopia, which is the first of its kind in the world. Because this is a green denim manufacturing plant, no emissions. So now you can imagine that even now, compared to anywhere else in the world I'm talking about, Ethiopia has the most modern denim manufacturing plant. So this shows at what rate Ethiopia is going ahead. So this is great news for me, especially when it's done by an Indian. Leather, you can see what is the driving factor. Leather is easily available, very competitive, good quality. And of course, you've seen that small 3-minute clip also, which our commissioner had put forward for you. Some of the companies were invested there is Farida Tannery, United Basin Tannery. We ourselves have invested in that. We are manufacturing shoes there. Pharmaceuticals, company like Cadila, they have invested there, and they're planning of expanding. Agro, we have 2 companies which have recently set up. One is Pramukh Swami Agro Industries or something, who are manufacturing something out of soya beans, the local market. In agro processing, goes well with the government's vision, yeah, and a huge market, instant success. Innovation, yeah, innovation. I think Indians are good at innovation. So once you understand what the needs are, you go for the innovation, you do it. Parle, they are putting up a manufacturing plant. All of you know Parle. So I mean, those guys, if they look at Ethiopia, I'm sure they've done their due diligence. Alana, the commissioner had already mentioned, the meat processing plant is going to be a very modern meat processing plant, and of course they've not put it up. It's still under construction. The pilot project is already on, and they're already exporting out of Ethiopia. But probably it's going to be one of the finest things. Now, with all the Ethiopians coming in, with all the Indians coming in, it was necessary for us to form an India Business Forum. This was with the blessing of the Ethiopian government, and it is under the umbrella of the Indian Embassy. We have more than 100 members who are, these are group companies, so the actual membership will be much more. Yeah, so maybe one person is already a member under this company, so I don't want to pay again. There's a paid membership. Now, we have 3 objectives. One is to encourage Indian investments to Ethiopia, like what I'm doing now. And then when many of you, I was so happy to see that some of you came and said, okay, yeah, we've been to your office, and like, you know, you told us, and we're still we're seriously thinking of investing in Ethiopia. So that's one job. Second is dialogue with government officials. This is always important. Yeah? Of course, the Chamber of Commerce is there and to do. But as Indians, as a group of Indians, if we have any challenges or issues which we feel we need to talk to the government is always ready to listen to us and discuss with us. We've had the opportunity to meet the India Business Forum, even with His Excellency the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, with Dr. Arka very recently. We've had with all ministers, several department heads, with the Commissioner of Investment, with everybody we've had. So we streamline issues. And then third one is networking. And when I talk of government officials and dialogues, it's very important, yeah, because the policies may be good, but sometimes down at the bottom you have implementation issues. So which we sometimes brought to the notice of the government, we can resolve it. Networking. Indians then get together at meetings and all, and then they share experiences. So when you come, you don't need to reinvent the wheel each time you come. So you'll hear, okay, what did he do? How did he get around it? How did he get land? How did he get, which office did he go to for this? It makes life easier, yeah. From getting even a place on rental for you to stay to, all small things. But that's very important. Some of the achievements is, like I said already, regular meetings at the highest level. We also get a chance to meet with the Indian delegations. In the last 2 months, I think we must have met at least 5 state ministers. Yeah, and we've had the opportunity to meet even our former Prime Minister, His Excellency Dr. Manmohan Singh. Yeah. And one of the biggest things is the last one, which is written there. Now, businessmen are always nervous when it comes to taxation. As you all know, recently in India, elections were won. One of the manifestos was, I think, tax terrorism and combating it. So wherever there is a business, there's going to be taxation issues. And we have signed an MOU with the Ethiopian Revenue and Customs Authority. So what does this MOU help us to do? If you feel that there are genuine grievances against anything, whether it's terms of procedures or anything, assessments, you come to the India Business Forum and we manage to talk to them based on the MOU. And if the grievance is genuine, we can easily streamline it. So these are some of the things which I see are very helpful for you to understand business, apart from the field that you are doing, the feasibilities and all that. But one question is, are only Indians investing there? That's the biggest question. No. The whole world is today investing in it. I mean, we started with the small companies, and now we have the big companies. We have General Electric, who have already set pace. IKEA is doing it. We have Samsung, who is doing something. All these big international companies. We have in the brewery side, we have Heineken, we have Diageo. We have all these companies investing in Ethiopia. So that means there's something really, really going right with Ethiopia, and that is what I want to bring to your notice as an Indian, as a fellow Indian, that it is a land of opportunity. Come, but come fast because the world is not waiting. They're looking, as I think Dr. Zamadan has already said, there are very few places that people can really invest in now. Because the whole world is in a mess. Yeah? And Ethiopia is one of those promises which is still there, and everybody's going to scramble. If you're not fast, you may be too late, you may miss the boat. So my only suggestion and advice is work, act fast, and thank you for it.